Alrighty, so to be respectful of everybody's time frames and commitments and stuff, we are going to start. This is going to be kind of an interview. So I'm going to basically be asking Carolyn a bunch of different questions, and you guys can chime in if you guys have anything to add. If you guys have any difficulties, please keep those into the chat box. But if you guys have a question, you can raise your hand. You can chat in the box and tell me, or if there is a stopping point during her speaking, you can go ahead and chime in and write and ask her. So just to basically give everybody an introduction, can you please just tell us about yourself and how you found out about American Sign Language, what it is, and why you became an interpreter?
Sure. Well, first I see Sarah. Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
And Kim. Where's Kim?
We have some people that aren't showing their faces, but they're still here.
That's fine. So I grew up in Idaho. And when I was 18, I met this deaf boy, and I was at a baseball game. And my friend and I were sitting there, and she saw them, but they came walking up to us, and that was the first time I had seen a deaf person. So they were signing, and I'd never seen a deaf person before. And they were signing, and then I thought, maybe I need to learn more. Well, that deaf boy, he started writing on paper back and forth, and he said, "You want to go on a date?" So I said, sure, but we couldn't communicate. So we played a lot of video games, and we wrote a lot back and forth. It was so boring. So then when I went to college in the fall, I decided I needed to take ASL. So that's why I started taking ASL. And ASL means American Sign Language. So what do you think about that?
That's a very interesting story. I actually have a question, like, where is he now? Or where did the story go any further?
No, he went his way. I took ASL for all of my college, and then I went on a mission for my church. So for a year and a half, I served with deaf people in Texas and in Florida. So that helped me a lot because I lived with deaf people and, you know, really was with the community. And then when I came home, then I went to college again, and I had deaf roommates. So I've lived with deaf people for many, many years. And then my sister, she took ASL, and now she's over all the interpreters in the state of Idaho. So
wow, that's
one awesome. Deaf person totally changed our lives.
That's awesome, and it's great that it became like a family thing.
Yeah, yep, it sure did.
So,
hi, Marianne.
Hi.
Can you tell us all the different kind of settings you've ever had to interpret for and how they were kind of different?
Yes, so many different. What do you think people have interpreters for? Anybody? Where do deaf people need interpreters? Do they need them at the doctor?
Anywhere.
Yeah, the doctor, because they can't talk with the doctor. So I've interpreted for many doctors. I've interpreted for funerals, for weddings, in court, for mental health situations, for a lot of fun things like boating, rafting. I think I've interpreted everything.
That's awesome. So when you're interpreting in different settings, and Tim kind of brought this up a little bit when he brought up that book. Well, is it kind of universal, or is there different or multiple signs for the same thing or the same phrase? And how do you know what to use or when it's appropriate?
Yes. So is there one language for all the different countries?
No.
So do Spanish people, there's not one language for all the countries, right?
Oh,
Right.
So there's not one sign language for all the countries either.
Mm.
Every country has their own sign language.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so when I went to visit Austria, we met many deaf Austrians, and their sign language is very different. But we could gesture and try to communicate like that. When I went to London, we met British deaf people, and theirs is very different. Everyone's is very different. Japanese, everybody has different sign languages.
Wow.
Wow.
Mm.
Is it somewhat similar though? So like say if someone else is talking to the other, are they gonna is that gonna be a huge communication barrier?
Same as when we go to, like if you went to Germany and you spoke with someone who was only speaking German, it was very different. So it would be very different. But deaf people know how to really gesture and point and use their body language, whereas hearing people, we don't. But deaf people just somehow are able to connect, but it's not the same language. They're able to gesture and point, and so that's kind of how it works.
So is American Sign Language that we know today the same as it was way back then? Or like, can you just give us a brief kind of synopsis of how it kind of, the evolution behind it?
Yeah. So our sign language, the foundation of it is from France. So because we had one man that was very interested in wanting to teach deaf people. So there was supposed to be a really good school first he went to London, but they didn't want to help him. So then he went to France, and that's where he learned sign. And he met a deaf man, and his name was Laurent Claire. Laurent Claire, and his name sign is this. A name sign is really important in the deaf community. So like my name sign is this. Joe, what's your name sign? What's your name sign? Do you spell it? Just spell.
No,
Yeah.
just Jay.
Yeah, J. Okay. So usually it's something related with your personality, or the deaf community gives you a name sign. So I can't give myself a name sign. The deaf community gives it to me. So anyway, back to where so Claire, that's his name sign. He was a deaf man, and he was an educator, and he came to America with Thomas Gallaudet. And so they started a school for the deaf in Connecticut. And then later, that school is still there. It's called the American School for the Deaf. And then Gallaudet set up a university, which is still there today, Gallaudet University, and that's in Washington, D.C.
Cool.
Yeah. And Gallaudet University was started in 1864. And you know which president signed for the approval of that university was Abraham Lincoln.
Holy cow.
Oh, wow.
I know that.
That is so cool.
Yeah, so Abraham Lincoln, he really helped to set up that deaf school.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
So are the signs the same or have they also changed over the years?
That's a good question. So they've changed. Like, for example, today that we sign money. So if you put your hand like this, everybody put your hand like this. Can you do that, Nora? Mary, oh, good job. You're doing good. So now put it in your hand like this.
Oh.
That's the sign for money.
Mm.
But back in the 1800s, we didn't really have a lot of dollars, so we had coins. So they signed it like that, money.
Ooh.
And now we sign old. Can you do that? Old, old. But long time ago, they would go old, way old. And if I was standing, I could show you long. So if you go, can you do that? L? Good job. So if you put that on your arm, that means long. But back in the 1800s, they would put long from their leg clear up. That was the old fashioned. So our roots from the sign language was from France, and then when Claire came to America, then they would learn some of the signs that people used here, and then they put them together, which became what we have ASL today. But language is always changing because now we have technology, we have computers. Did they have computers in the 1800s?
Nope.
No, so they didn't have to sign that. What about iPhones?
Nope.
Did they have those in the old days? No way. But so now we go iPhone. Try that one. Can you do that one? Yeah, now do that. iPhone. And another one is, what about the internet and Wi-Fi? How do you sign Wi-Fi? Do that one again. That one, and then Wi-Fi. Just move it in a little circle.
Mm.
There's your Wi-Fi. Yeah. So there's
Abraham Lincoln didn't
Wi-Fi.
have that?
What?
Abraham Lincoln didn't have that sign?
No, he sure didn't. No.
Oh.
Yeah, but Wi-Fi and what's iPhone again? Try iPhone. What was it? iPhone. Good job. Good memories. And oh, what about money? Remember money? Money. Nice. And what
So,
about
Carolyn,
long? Oh, long. Good job. Sure.
what happens when a new word comes arise? Like, how does it become a sign? Like,
Yeah.
does someone like, is there a certain agency that makes it that sign?
Yeah, that's a good question. The deaf community, they all decide what the sign is, and then it just spreads. So, but some signs are different. Like in Arizona, there's some signs that are different. Like in Texas, the sign for Sunday is if I touch this finger and I put my hands up, that's Sunday. But here it's Sunday. And another one is in Texas, they sign, no, here we sign favorite. This is my favorite. But in Texas, they sign favorite. So every state has a little bit of different signing.
Yeah, so it's like the deaf community maybe in every single state has their own language. That's awesome.
Yeah. Just like when I moved here, I didn't know the sign for a cactus or a javelina. You know, the big javelinas that are all over. We didn't have those. So when I moved here, I didn't know the signs and I still don't remember them. But I think this one is javelina. This one, javelina. So I didn't know the signs for the things in Arizona because we don't have those. But you know,
That's
here,
really
they might not know the sign for skiing. So see, you put your fingers like this, and then you go like this. You're skiing. And you can get your poles, but they might not have that here. I guess they do, a few people ski.
We actually have skiing. We do cross-country skiing up at the Nordic Center in Flagstaff.
Oh, I love
So we
cross.
gotta go a little bit north to go skiing, but we still got it.
I don't remember
Yeah,
the last time we did that though.
We did that 2 years ago. We're gonna have to do it again.
that's a fun thing. Who likes cross-country skiing?
Me too.
Yeah, it's fun. Did you fall over?
A little bit, a couple
That's
times.
the best part of it.
Time?
I would have to have a special ski.
Yeah, I fell over too when I went cross-country skiing. They're so long.
Oh.
Woo, woo.
So, yes, you just moved here, but overall, when someone is looking to start beginning to want to know ASL, where can they go and what kind of resources are there? Do you know any in the community here in Arizona?
Well, there's a lot of deaf people that live in Phoenix. I don't know many people in Phoenix, but in Tucson, they have a lot of deaf community events like bowling. And so I always go there. But here there's Pima Community College, and you can take ASL classes. And there's the University of Arizona, and you can take ASL classes. And I sent them to you, Sarah, but there's 2 really good places online that you can learn some signs that are really good. One is on YouTube. Do you watch YouTube?
Mhm.
YouTube, look at that sign, YouTube. Put the Y, and your hand is like this, and you go like that, YouTube. Look, it looks like a movie, huh? So YouTube, and they have one that's called ASL That. And he teaches a lot of great signs. And then online, there's a place called lifeprint.com. And I sent those to you, Sarah, texted them so that you could share those with everybody. Those are great places. They have
Awesome.
a lot
Thank
of
you.
pictures.
Thank you so much for that. Everyone, I will be making sure that I will send that out on every single event post for this event so that you guys have those resources. And then also you can always email me, Sarah at daring-adventures.org. I'll put it in the chat box and I will get those resources straight to you.
Yeah, so you can
All
learn.
right.
So when you are learning and teaching ASL to someone else, what are some tips for someone that's just learning or someone that is teaching someone else to ASL?
Well, we always want deaf people to teach ASL. I usually teach more of the interpreting. So that's been most of my career, is teaching how to interpret. And then deaf people teach the language. And I totally forgot the best way to learn is to mingle with deaf people and practice. Just like cross-country skiing. If you practice, you're not gonna fall, right? So if you practice signing, you'll get better and better and better.
You kind of said this a little bit in the beginning, but you talked about body language. Can you give some tips or just kind of explain how important as an interpreter, like your enunciation, your facial expressions, and then also your body language when you're signing to the deaf community?
Yeah, so when you write, you always have commas and periods and semicolon. You know, when you write, there's always grammar, blah. But with ASL, you always have expression So if you have no expression, that means there's no, it's like flat. And so the deaf person will probably fall asleep because you're so boring. You have no expression. So this is the sign for happy. Look, happy. See that? Put that. A lot of people aren't comfortable touching themselves like that because they're like, I don't like that, but it's okay in ASL. So if you sign that, but look at my face. Does that look like I'm happy?
Totally the opposite.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
No. So if I sign this, then you know I'm happy, right?
Right.
What if I sign this? This is the sign for sad. So look at your hands, sad. Watch this. Does that look like I'm sad?
Yeah.
No. So if I go, so sad. So you have to have the expression that goes with the sign. Like here's one that's really fun too. So if you go, look at your fingers. If you go like this, put your hands like that. There you go. Now go like this. That means you're excited. Now watch my face. Do I look very excited?
Yeah.
Watch this. Difference?
We're gonna practice that.
So now I'm excited. Now, and what's the sign for happy again? But you have to smile. Happy. What's the sign for sad? Make sure you look sad. Because you don't want to go, remember? You have to sign that way. So that's very important. Expression is very important. And how you move your hands is very important. What if this sign for sad, what if I signed something really strange that no one had ever seen before? So I was like, and they would say, what are you signing? They wouldn't understand. But if you use the right hand shapes, then that's very important. Yeah, very important. Now, some people don't have all their fingers and some people don't have their hands, but they can still sign. For example, I met a deaf man who was paralyzed and he couldn't finger spell. You know what finger spelling is? You go A, B, C. He couldn't finger spell. So what he did was he would draw it in the air. So then there's a C, there's a D. So there's always ways to, a lot of things happen to deaf people that happen to many, many people, but they can still sign.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
So another question I've had is when you typically go to maybe a longer event, you see that there's multiple interpreters and they kind of switch off. Can you kind of explain to others why that is and why that happens and why one interpreter might not interpret the entire event?
Yes, well, I'm from the old days. So when we started interpreting, we interpreted everything. But now they're lucky. See that sign? There's that finger. Now go lucky. So if I don't have expression, I'm not very lucky. But if you sign lucky, right? So they're lucky now because interpreting really hurts your brain. Why would that be? Because you're listening to one language and you're switching it into a completely different language. And that really hurts your brain. So what happens is a lot of research has happened. And if you, after 20 minutes, if you keep interpreting, there's a lot of things that are lost so that deaf people don't understand everything. Because me, as the interpreter, I get tired. See that sign? Put your hands right there and you go tired. I'm so tired. It's not just your hands and it's your mind, because it really has to work hard. So that's why they switch.
So you kind of said, like, obviously that's hard on your brain. So how long did it take you to be able to do that so like fastly and seamlessly? And what are those tips and tricks for other people when they're trying to learn how to interpret while someone else is talking?
Yeah, oh, it takes a lot of practice. You got to practice, and you have to be willing to make mistakes and be willing to just go, oh, that's not the right sign. Oh, this is the right sign. Okay. And just accept that you made a mistake and then just keep going. Some people aren't willing to admit they've made a mistake, so they're not going to improve as an interpreter. So you have to just practice. It takes a lot of years. I learned ASL in 1982. So now it's 2020, but I still learn because it's my second language. It's not my first language. My first language is English. Is your first language English or Spanish? Is English?
English.
Yeah, English is our first language. So our second language is really hard, or a third or a fourth. Those are harder. So you have to practice.
Okay, so before we go into kind of our common phrases that Carolyn's going to kind of teach us some common phrases, and a lot of them I like because they're kind of things that you're going to say to someone in everyday introduction and you're going to use every day. But I actually had a question kind of come up today for me when I was talking about this event, and then I actually saw someone on Facebook, but what do we have to wear now that we go out?
Mask.
To interpret.
Masks, right?
Oh
And
yeah,
then
masks.
another huge thing for our deaf community is some that don't sign, they also, or
Yeah.
some that also sign, they lip
Yeah.
read.
Right.
So what have you seen out there that people are doing to help break that communication barrier? Or what are some ideas that you may have to help people kind of break that communication barrier of the masks?
Well, a lot of deaf people have already created it. They're making masks that are clear right here. So you put the mask on, but it may have plastic right here, so that, and then this part goes behind your ears so that you can still see the person's face. Or sometimes there's a mask that can come like a clear plastic that comes down on your face. But we just bought some from a lady that lives here in Tucson so that we can use that when we're in the deaf community.
Awesome. Would you be willing to share maybe that person's link with us, or any links that you may have to those types of products?
Yeah, sure. I will get that. I don't have it, but I will find it. It was on Facebook.
All right, awesome. So now we are just kind of gonna go, she's gonna
Practice.
common phrases, and then we're gonna open it up for any questions that anyone may have for Carolyn.
Okay, are you ready to practice? So we're gonna say hello. Okay, so put your hand like this. Okay, now go like this. And you gotta smile if you're happy, right? Hello. But what if you're not happy to see someone? Right? But we're happy to see each other, so we're gonna go, right? Hello. There you go. Hello. Yeah. So, okay. So there's hello. What about goodbye? Bye. And if you're sad to say goodbye, yeah. But if you're happy, you go, here you go. Bye-bye. Right? Okay. The next one was, what about stop? Okay. So put your hand like this. Put it now flat. Do this hand like this. Stop. Stop. There you go. Stop. You're doing good. I can see your hand. You're doing really good. Stop.
Joe, I had to learn that one because of cycling, right? I had to make sure we were
Right.
stopping.
Yeah.
He's been teaching me.
Yeah, stop. Ooh, you're tired. If you're okay, go oh, go like this. Oh. It's hard on video because you have to turn your hand. You say oh.
The notebook.
Say K. See that? It's a little hard, huh? Say okay. Okay. So it's an okay.
Tell you and you son.
Okay. Yeah, what's happy? 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 What's sad? Good job. Oh, you're doing so good. How about practice? Practice. Put one finger, put the other one like a fist, and go practice. There you go. Practice. Oh, you're doing good. And what about?
Carolyn, when
Yeah.
you're going over these real quick, can you tell us, is there any certain hand that you have to use though, left or right?
Who's right-handed?
Me.
Okay, so you always, the right hand is the one that always moves if you're right-handed. So if this is stop, my left hand stays, but my right hand moves.
I did not know that.
Yeah, if you're left-handed, it would be opposite. My right hand would stay, my left hand would move.
Because you're left-handed.
Yeah. Your dominant hand is always the one that moves.
Dominant.
Like, look, practice. Left hand, and which one moves? Your right hand. Practice, practice, practice.
I've been learning for 10 years. I'd never heard that. So I learned something new.
Yeah, it's very
Well,
important.
I was doing it wrong, so I'm glad I asked that question because I was moving my right hand. So I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so if you say, what was the other one that we did? We haven't done that.
Hold. We're on C.
Cold. Put your hands like this. Cold. Now they both move together on this one. So put your hands like this and then go cold. We're not cold here. Cold. And your face looks kind of cold. Cold. Right? If you go like this, that's not cold. So then what's hot? Put your hand like this, like if you're, there you go. Now put it like this, hot. Yeah, you're hot. Ooh. Or you could go, ooh. Hot. What's cold? Do cold again. Cold. Good job. Good expression. And then what's hot? Hot. Oh, we're hot. And look at this. You can sweat. We sweat all the time here, don't we? So let's see if you wanted to say, what's up? Like meaning, what's going on? Put your hands like this. You have your third finger right there. And then go like this. Now you have to do it like this. Put your hand and smile. Now if a mom or a dad is, or someone is very mad, they might go, what are you doing? Are you messing up the house? What are you doing? So, but what's up? Hey, that's a happy what's up. This is a bad what's up. What's up? But we like the happy one. What's up? And, oh, how are you is a good one. So put your hands like this. There you go. You're doing good. Now this is a little bit harder. You put them like this and go, how? So there's how. And then raise your eyebrows. Are you? So how are you? And then most of the time we always say fine, right? So put your hand like this. Fine. So put it right here on your chest. Fine. But if you're not fine, you might go like this. So that means I'm not fine. I'm not fine. So what's hello again? Hello. What's up in a good way? What's up if you're in trouble? With that face. What's up? Oh, good expression. Very good expression. Oh, how about how are you? There you go. Good job. And what else? Oh, we did okay. So go okay. So you could say, are you okay? So if you put your eyebrows up, that means it's a question. So if you say, are you okay? Then that means it's a question. There you go. Are you okay? And what's hello again? Hello, good job. What's goodbye? That one's easy. And are you okay? Oh, how about what's your name? So you go this, what's your, now put your hands like this, they're like this, and then name. Notice my right hand moves, name. Left stays the same, right there, right, name. So what's, everybody do this, what's your name? Good job, look at you, I'm so proud of you. You're doing great, good job. So if you're doing good, what do I say? Yeah, good job. And how do you pat yourself on the back? There you go. Good job. Pat yourself on the back. What else? Was that, is there any others, Sarah, that you wanted me to do?
Well, what about what do you like, or what do you want to do, or something in terms of that?
Yeah, so if I meet you and I say, what do you want to do? So put your hands like this is a D. So do a D. Good job. I see some good hands right there. Now turn it and go do. So the question is, your eyebrows are up. What do you want to do? And if you're doing something bad, can I say? What are you doing? What are you doing? But what do you want to do? So if I come to your house and I say, what do you want to do today? Do you want to play? Play. So put your hands like this. Play. Do you want to ski? Do you want to walk? See this one? Put your hands. There you go. Walk. Walk. You know what I love to do is bike. So this one's bike. There you go.
We all like to bike too.
Bike. Yeah. But right now it's too hot, so I bought a really nice little bike inside. I use a little app called Swift. What else?
Does anyone else have anything?
Well, being from Florida, I never knew the word for hike. but now I know the word for hike. Like you said about Texas. You show them hike?
Yeah, so there's different signs for hike, but some people do like this, hike because you have a backpack, right? Or some people do like hike. So you do your backpack and you hike. So it's like little legs walking. But some people really hike like, woo, they're going up the mountain, right? So hiking. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. What about a wheelchair?
Yeah, here's a wheelchair. Like it's almost like you're grabbing the wheels and moving them. Wheelchair. Yeah, so you put your hands like this and you go whoop, there you go. Wheelchair. Good job. You did
Like it.
good.
I like it.
Yeah, good job.
Alrighty. I just want to open it up for questions. So if any of you guys have any questions for Carolyn, you guys can go ahead and ask them right now.
Yeah, or sure, Sarah.
Okay, well, how do you sign? Oh, I'm in a wheelchair.
So you could say I'm, so point, I'm, so you would be seating and then wheelchair. There you go. So I'm in a wheelchair. Now watch how the wheelchair moves. Woo! There you go. Wheelchair. If it's an electric one, it's faster.
No, mine's not.
Yeah, you just go, you have to do the hard one. Yeah, there you go. What other questions?
Carolyn, I don't know if you said this earlier, you were talking about translators. So is there translators? Like say they're translating from Spanish to English. So they would have to know Spanish and then convert it?
Yeah, yes,
Oh.
very hard. So here's an example for you. I got to go to Dubai, which is way far away in the Middle East. And there was a deaf engineer that asked me to go as his interpreter. But when we got there, no one spoke English, right? They spoke Arabic. So we needed an Arabic spoken language interpreter, an English spoken language interpreter, and an Arabic sign language interpreter, and an American Sign Language interpreter. So boy, to say anything went almost 5 different people.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow. That is crazy.
That is
Yeah.
crazy.
That's like United Nations stuff.
Yes, yeah, it was fun.
No.
I learned a lot.
Yeah. That's
What
awesome.
else? Nora, did you have your hand up?
yeah, I did. Yeah, that's okay. Because of me being visually impaired and I have cataracts getting really bad in my eyes, I had trouble following through because my eyes were I'm foreign visually.
Yeah.
Oh.
Did you know there's deaf blind people?
Yeah.
Oh.
How do they sign? They sign like, it's called tactile.
Yeah. That's
So
what I do.
you sign in their hand. So if I was gonna sign, you would hold on to my hand
Right.
and I would sign, and then the deaf person, if they grew up signing, they would be able to understand me just from the feeling and the movement of the signs.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It's Helen Keller did that.
Yeah.
Oh
And some
yeah.
people have vision, you know, tunnel vision or Usher syndrome, that their eyesight was only this much. So that means I have to sign right in that little area that they can see. So I can't sign really big. I have to sign really small so that the deaf blind person can see me.
Yeah. I have goat syndrome, but I see all around my whole eye, but they're in And then my eye not working right.
That was a hard one. What
Do
else?
we have any more questions for Carolyn?
We were talking about masks earlier, and somebody was talking about the shield, and I just found these at Sam's, you know, the face masks.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
And they're like $4 for 4 of them. It was amazing.
Yeah, that's a good one. And I'll share with with you, Sarah, the deaf ladies here in Tucson that are making them too.
Yeah, I saw one on Facebook and they were really trying to advocate for the barrier. And it was like one that basically it was like built in and sewed in.
Yeah.
Because I was also thinking about like, is that now defeat the purpose of it? But the way that they did it, it was really well designed. So I would love to see what she's doing down there so I can support someone local.
Yes, and that's why we bought them here, because they're local. Yeah, those are good questions. Any others? What about you, Marianne? Do you have a question?
Yeah, I do. If someone doesn't know sign language, is it okay to just learn the alphabet and spell?
Sure. You know, and you can do that, and you can write on paper, and any type of communication is better than none.
Right.
So that's a good question.
Yeah, so I worked at a group home where I learned very simple sign, mainly like water, more, and like bathroom and those kinds of things, and stop. But it's really interesting that like you just kind of keep learning and you kind of adapt. So like when I started here and I started basically surfacing people who are in the deaf community, you know, I myself had to learn more, but I found myself going straight back to that alphabet a lot.
Yeah.
And yes, Marianne, it's doable, but it's very, very tedious. And it takes a very, very long time signing the alphabet.
Oh.
So that's why it's awesome to start learning the phrases so that you don't have to do that all the time.
Yeah. And you can watch those videos I sent you, Sarah, and they'll help you, and you can practice. But Marianne, practicing finger spelling is a good thing too.
Awesome. Do we have any more questions for Carolyn?
Great job, Carolyn. Thank you.
Oh,
job.
thank you for inviting me to come. I'm so excited. Look, I'm excited. And I had fun.
Well, thank you so much. And I'm excited too, now that we have you and we can hopefully get you on some of our adventures. And hopefully you can join us on some of our virtual adventures as well.
Yeah.
Just to talk to everybody about what's coming up. But next week we have the Terrain Hopper USA coming on. The Terrain Hopper is basically a mobility device that is somewhat similar to an ATV that can go off-roading. And it is basically used by a toggle, like a power chair has, to basically independently someone can hike along with it by using the toggle chair. So he's going to be on there talking about a bunch of different adaptations for the device and how a wide range of different populations can use the device.
Nice.
And then
That was fun.
event. Jerry, do you want to talk a little bit about it on August 5th?
Yeah, we're going to have a live remote with our friend Naroko. She's the executive director for Virtual Photo Walks. And we're going to be touring this Japanese garden right outside of Tokyo live. So it's going to be at 6 p.m. on August 5th. And it'll be, I think, very exciting.
Yeah. Woo, you guys are lucky.
What Jerry didn't kind of say there was Virtual Photo Walks is this organization that does basically virtual tours for people who are bedridden and that can't go outside. So not only is that going to be for us, but their community is also going to be joining us. So it's going to be
Yeah.
awesome because we're going to have people from all around the world joining us for that one.
Wow, how great.
I have a question. What
Yes,
time,
Nora?
yeah, what time is that gonna be?
That one is also going to be at 6 p.m. because they are actually 16 hours ahead of us.
Wow.
So we're going to get them at 10 a.m. on August 6th, and they're going to be talking to us at 6 p.m. on August 5th.
Wow.
So it's going to be interesting.
Woo!
And then we
Wow.
also have Wild at Heart coming out, and they're going to be showing what they do to rehabilitate owls and different birds of prey.
sweet.
We're going to have Ranger Terry Gerber come on, and he's going to do a tour of the Lake Pleasant Discovery Center. We're going to have a guy, a physical therapist from Axio Bionics, come on and talk about wearable therapy for people with physical disabilities. And then we're also going to have, starting in September, a huge recap of our first ever River Rampage. And Tim, who's also on, is going to be a host for that one. So please join us if you can, Carolyn, and everyone for our future virtual events. And we can't hope to see you guys all again.